Hey guys, what's up? I'm Will, and this is William's C# walkthroughs, and I've got a really fun workshop today. It's gonna be a really chilled stream. I've titled this stream my Learn C# Masterclass, and indeed, this is sort of a Learn C# Masterclass in the sense that I might as well give you guys some context. I don't have the tab up with me now, but I am piloting a C# Masterclass, whereby if you want to learn the fundamentals of .NET C#, I'm running workshops online. This is kind of a taster. It's kind of I'm kind of converging Learn C# Masterclass along with my Telefyy series. So if you kind of want a taster of Learn C# Masterclass, definitely tune in some of my live streams. I'm not sure how loud the music is. I'm going to just volume it down a little bit. I can increase the volume when I lock in. But for now, yeah, so I'm going to be tapering off. This is technically episode 10 of my Telefyy series. And yeah, there's been a few updates off screen and some exciting developments with regards to Telefyy. Some of the API structure has been re-looked at. I've re-looked at the API structure and come to some pretty interesting conclusions. So without much further ado, we're going to jump straight into this. And before I do get started, guys, if you do want to enroll onto my Learn C# Masterclass, I might as well show you guys my landing page. My landing page is online. My Learn C# Masterclass. Feel free to get in touch with me. I'm on LinkedIn, guys, so you can hit me up via DM on LinkedIn. Book a call with me, and we can get started. I'm gonna just quickly check my dashboard on YouTube. I just want to make sure that I'm actually live. Oh, sorry, guys. What side is this? Just double checking I'm actually live here. Yes, it seems I am. Good. Just double checking. I'm off screen. Just want to make sure that the stream is actually active. Like, I actually activated the stream because I can't see any picture. I'm a little concerned there. There's no picture coming through. One second, guys. I can't see a picture, which is a bit concerning. So I'm gonna just quickly go to another tab to make sure that indeed I am live. I am using a different. I'm using OBS, but I'm not connecting via direct stream key. I'm using the login feature, so I'm not 100% sure if this is working. Let me double check. This will only take about a minute, guys. If I'm not streaming picture, like if the video is not coming through, then I'm going to restart the stream. I just need to double check this. Yes, I'm live. Here I am. Just double checking that. Cool, my dashboard has been a bit weird. Maybe I'm just lagging. I'm lagging. Alright, guys, cool. Now, without much further ado, let's get straight into this. Let me just put the music back. Excuse me, guys. Let's quickly make a group for this tab. Again, this stream is going to be really chilled as per my streams in general. I have traditional search. I have AI search up. I'll put my traditional search up as well. Sorry, Google. Not going to log in just yet. Can't bother with that. Alright, guys, just doing a little bit of housekeeping right now, and then I'm going to explain what's been going on. Where's my interface? I have this interface class, just to give you guys a run through. Let me get my agenda up. Excellent. So let's summarize. I'm going to go through today's agenda, and I'm going to try and make this as much of a masterclass as it is a walkthrough, a live walkthrough of my API building. So it's going to be quite interesting workshop today. So what's Telefyy? Telefyy is a project that I have started. Telefyy, more or less, is a set of classes which sit on top and around of Telegram API. So I'm building this sort of like a C-sharp layer of classes that rely on Telegram API, .NET. And what I want to achieve is to build a platform whereby developers can use these C-sharp Telefyy libraries in order to build storefronts on top of Telegram itself, Telegram client. They're also cool, guys. This is just a little segue. I was just... Ooh. Maybe I'll talk about Telegram in a bit. Just got a notification there. Anyway, just to continue what I was saying about Telefyy. Before, in some of the previous workshops, I was working on implementing a Telefyy server, and indeed I was explaining how Telefy's network topology works. I was talking about how if you go to the previous workshop, the thing is, I didn't even get much into the coding because it was so late. It was like going to 5 a.m. in the morning. I was pretty tired. I was like knackered, as we say in the UK when we're tired. And but hopefully I can get a lot more done today. But I was talking about the server topology and like the Telefyy instances and stuff like that. In this particular case, let me just double check my levels. What I want to do is kind of segue away from a UWP server implementation for the first iteration. And what I want to achieve is a set of classes, and these classes serve to build my classes serve to build Telefyy stores. One second, guys. I shall be right back. This is the most chillest stream I've done. I just have to attend to something, so just bear with me quickly. So sorry about that, guys. I just had to attend to something off screen. So let's get started with this. Again, this is such a chill stream. I keep saying this, but I am drinking instant coffee, and it's from Aldi. All right, let's get started with this. All right, awesome. So, guys, I have this interface layer, and the way I want to structure my API, essentially my classes. There are two things that I want to kind of touch on. It is the idea, the concept of an API itself, what an API does, and how the visibility of an API, right? And I want to speak about the implementation functions, so the features of Telefyy. And when I talk about Telefyy, I'm not talking about Telegram API. I'm talking about the features I'm building utilizing Telegram API classes, right? So I have, just to give you an example, this is in the earlier streams, I built this Telefyy core class, right? And with this set of features and functionality, I was able to do pass hello world via my bot. Let's see if I can show you guys. Is it here? So I managed to get my bot to say hello world to me. Okay, that was a little test that I did. So the idea here, guys, is that to make things a little bit closer to API compliant, I want to separate my concerns. And what better way to separate C# concerns than to use interfaces in this particular context, in this environment of what I'm building. I happen to be using UWP right now. The idea is that I don't want developers to be tied to UWP per se, but I just happen to use UWP because it's one of the templates I'm most familiar with. And it kind of meant I could create a prototype alongside the classes with like a user interface front. But let's say production or shipping times, when I'm actually like shipping the classes, when I've gone gold with Telefyy, the implementation itself the implementation of Telefyy probably won't be coupled with UWP. There will be class libraries or just like classes. It really depends. But UWP can be used with the C# files, where dynamic link libraries would be very useful for that. I could have a version for Win32, I could have versions for UWP, say. Nonetheless, I have these function definitions in my interface, right? And I have a respective implementing class. I have iBot connect and bot connect. So here are my implementations, and it's pretty cool because I can build on this. Now the thing is, of course, inherently, because I'm utilizing interfaces, this kind of contract that I've set out, this contract sort of connotates the relationship between iBot connect and bot connect, in the sense that there's a relationship between the two classes. So bot connect derives from iBot connect. Excuse me, guys. So yeah, just to repeat myself, bot connect, this class, derives from iBot connect. I'm on low battery on my camera. I should recharge my phone. So that just means the fact that this class derives from iBot connect. I want to make sure that nothing other than contract implementations are defined in this class, right? Now, this class does look a little bit messy, which I do appreciate. But what I'm trying to say is that in this bot connect, I really shouldn't have like my pipelining business logic, right? So where I'm routing logic along a pipeline where let's say I'm programming a customer journey, right, using Telefyy. So I want to build a customer journey. So I type to my bot, hello bot, I would like to purchase a SaaS, let's say like a video game development SaaS. I don't know, I'm just making things up here. A video game engine. And let's say I'm a vendor, I'm vendoring video game engines, and I happen to be vendoring my engine on Telefyy, right? So, and let's say it's like a SaaS format, just for fun. So at the end of the day, I'm chatting to my bot via a customer journey because I'm sort of pertaining Telefyy to Telegram client for now. It makes the most sense. Had some time to think about this, about do I want to output on UWP, do I want to output on Telegram client. It makes sense to output on Telegram client, and I can take advantage of some of the features of Telegram. Excuse me. So this should really just define implementation logic. That's it. And then around this class, these set of classes, iBot connect and bot connect, I have like Telefyy core, and I could use this class to route my store logic. I do have this class here. I named this class storefront, and I'm considering having my main routing implementation here. So the question for me is, how thin is the API layer of Telefyy? right? Does Telefyy hold responsibility of, say, the way stores are built, or are developers the ones that can customize their stores? And it's interesting because the thinner the API, the harder it is to use. I would suggest. But if this API, if Telefyy could build stores on one function core, then the level of abstraction is really strong. You have a strong level of abstraction, but you have a lower barrier of entry in terms of learning curve. But if the API is a bit thinner, then what you end up having is a higher learning curve, because what's happening is that I have a higher level of customization, because I have just like more functions and more features of Telefyy that I put together, kind of like Lego, in order to build my storefront. But Telefyy could do this already. Telefyy could potentially build the storefronts in one of its pipelines, and then all a developer has to do is just call the function. And that's what I want to start. I think I want to start there. Okay, so there's layers to the storefronts, right? What is a storefront in Telegram? Essentially, I'm going to use Notepad as an example, hopefully. I don't know if you guys can see this, because I got OBS running. Let me just double check my OBS. Obviously, I've got my camera bit there. Let me just drag this up a little bit. Drag this one too. Right, so I'm gonna make a notes section, and let's just pretend. Oh, sorry guys. If we just pretend that Notepad is Telegram, so I could be like, Telegram bot can welcome a user, so it could be like, hi there, what SaaS would I like to browse? And then I can be chatting to the bot. I can just do like a simple keyword search, essentially. Nothing too fancy, no like AI based search for now. Just a rules based search query, or rather a rules based query engine, if I could say. So I could just put in some keywords. I could say something like, I want a game engine app. Let's say I know that I'm browsing, a game engine store app, a game engine storefront. Let me skip this ad. Sorry guys, I'm doing my best to multitask on and off screen. So I've queried my bot. I've said I'm looking for a game engine app. So then my Telegram bot is like, great, for my game engine app, and then there's an exe file that I can push, or a link, or some kind of link to maybe an external website. And I want Telefyy to support payments. I'm gonna have to probably look into using an external payments API gateway. There used to be a flavor of Stripe that the Telegram API supported, but I haven't since found Stripe supported since like version 19 or 17, I can't remember. And then this should lead to a payment, right? So if say a developer was selling a SaaS that I wanted to buy, then there should be a payments gateway, and then I should be able to buy a SaaS, and then a merchant should get paid, right? That's the whole idea of the storefront of Telefyy. Okay, so if this is the storefront, and I should mention that I'm at this point I'm browsing, so there should be like listings of different SaaSes on Telegram itself. I was considering having Telegram channels to be the stores. Like Telegram have this feature where they have channels and you can broadcast channels and you can even add bots to channels. And as long as you can add a bot to a chat, and as long as a bot can be controlled in a channel, then I have access. Then Telefyy could be implemented on channels, basically. Not tested that, but theoretically that's the case. So at this point I'm browsing for SaaSes, and then I might see a link. There might be one particular game engine I see on like Telegram on the storefront channel, and then there might be a prompt that says like, I don't know, 2D game engine, type yes, or type engine to read the description, something like that. So this experience, this online store shopping experience, is really contained within Telegram. So you gotta kind of use Telegram to understand what I'm saying. So what am I trying to extract here? This is going to lead to the coding bit. So we need a simple customer journey feature. We also need like a listing feature. Listings for items, customer journey implementation. It's going to be really interesting to do the customer journey. So I don't want to put too much on my plate on this part. I'm going to start with these two. I think I'll start with the customer journey because it's bot chats. So I want to try and get the hello world up and running again, but this time using my interface implementation layer being called from a discrete class. I think I'm going to try it like that first. Excuse me, guys. Yeah, I'm going to start from there. Right. So so I talked about how, let me just make the delimiter here. What am I talking about? I was alluding to the fact that Telefyy should have responsibility for the storefronts. The developer shouldn't really initialize storefronts themselves. That's the easiest way. Lower barrier to entry, less customization. The concept of, one function call and I have a storefront. It's the easiest way to do things, right? And I think there's some merit to that. So, I'll make a note of this, otherwise I will forget. So I'll be like, Telefyy needs to have implementation to build storefronts. Implementation to build self-contained storefronts, like that. Alright, cool. And what does this encompass? Bot chats, driving customer journeys, and I suppose listings. Let's keep it simple. Store listings. So firstly, I need to route all my implementation logic to authenticate a session, and I'm going to use my Telefyy core class to sort of help me out here. So all the implementation and the routing has already been sorted out. I showed this in like stream number 4 or something. One of the streams, I'm not too sure which stream it was, but one of the streams I got the hello world to work using this class. I'm really sorry guys if it's hard to read the text. My mouse will stop working. I don't want to really like mess around here. But it should be readable, I think. I think it should be readable on 1080. I think I'm streaming in 1080p. And I like zooming out on the text because it means I can see more of the screen anyway. So first things first, the authentication logic of Telefyy is here somewhere, so you can find it. Pass SSL script, update Where's that authentication? So this is the authentication logic, or like the authentication workflow, if I could say. So there are different sets of logic going on. And I kind of ported this onto my implementation class for my interface. So it's almost like one-to-one with a few differences. So I can find the class and the function. I don't even know if it's here. An API request. Oh yeah, so I've not even finished it. So we can make a start on this. I have authenticate bot connection. So this is the implementation logic. And then the idea is that we're going to call this implementation logic from like outside of the interface. And this is where the idea of using the API comes into play, because really as a developer, if I'm a developer using Telefyy, I shouldn't really see the API. I shouldn't be concerned with how the API works. I shouldn't modify the API. I could maybe extend my API depending on how open, I don't want to say open, but how extensible I want my API to be. But my API should be closed for modification. Obviously, that's like a solid principle, open-close principle. My API should be open to extensibility, but closed to modification. And obviously, having just like classes kind of violates solid, because classes can directly be modified by developers. That's why using dynamic link libraries is quite cool. DLLs are more secure. But obviously, this is me building out the features. So using a raw class just helps, because I don't need to then, build my DLL into a project and then just like make sure everything's up to date. No, I can just literally build the features here, then port my features onto a DLL later. That's what I'm trying to do, essentially. Okay, let's see. I'm going to get my Telefyy core. I'm going to try to put side by side, make things a bit quicker. Make sure this is all readable. I can't use my mouse wheel, so I have to just like scroll with the scroll bars and stuff. It's quite interesting. Alright, I'm gonna get started. So I'm calling Telegram bot client. I'm constructing this class, which is a Telegram API class. Pass my bot token, passing a HTTP client class, and a cancellation token. And this essentially deals with authentication, right? But there's more. I could copy and paste, but I'm gonna try and avoid copy and pasting. But for now, we'll copy paste. It's just quicker. It doesn't make sense to just type out when I can copy paste. But I gotta make sure everything works. There's some members I haven't defined yet in my bot connect. I have to just make sure that my class is consistent. Where am I constructing this here? Telegram authenticate Telegram for client, Telegram bot client. There it is. It got a bunch of errors because, of course, I have members. I have members that are not defined in my interface implementation class. And I consider to myself, should these members be in the interface? I mean, should these members be defined in my implementation class? I don't think so. I don't know if it's actually a rule of thumb. But I reckon that in an ideal world, for my iBot Connect, members in Bot Connect should really pertain to these methods. Which means I'd probably have to pass some of these members by parameter. That's what I'm considering. I might have to pass some of these members by parameter. If I can avoid globals as much as possible, then I should be okay. I have some globals because I needed to just test functionality. I need to make sure functionality was consistent. But really, these globals should probably be passed by parameter. We'll get there. We will get there. Alright, so where am I? So, see if I can just grab these from, if I can just port my members. Okay, chat ID, where's it gone? I'm trying to find the respective members so I can define them. Sorry guys, give me a second. Otherwise I'll do it, I'm being lazy. But since I'm just catching up, I'm essentially just porting code. I think it's alright to just paste my features from my Telefyy core for now until I start writing new stuff. Just for now. Just to reiterate, I am trying to get the hello world up and running. That's the main thing. Okay. It makes a lot more sense to just one by one add my members. I want to just go through this as well, make sure the authentication process makes sense. For example, I don't think I need a list of updates and an array of updates. I did before, but I don't need right now. So I'm kind of like trimming my Telefyy core members. I don't like what I did there. Keeping it slim. No, it doesn't make sense. My initial approach was just to copy and paste what was in the Telefyy core, but it just doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense because there's a lot of members that don't need to be in certain places in my classes. So I'll start with I'm literally trying to just get what needs to be done, and that's to authenticate my Telegram bot client. Don't want to get carried away, because what Telefyy core is more of my pipeline logic rather than my API kind of implementation. That's why I was getting a bit weird. I was getting a bit thrown off there. I made a mistake. I might be ready to test this actually. It's very soon. Is this my authentication? No, that's my fields. It's my authentication workflow. I'm gonna need these events. So on my storefront class, so what I want to try and achieve here is that if I were to construct this storefront class, I get a store. I get a store implemented onto the Telegram client, just like that. That's how I want my abstraction to work. Let me start with a construct. I reckon this should actually be in my API, on my interface layer. Yeah, I'm doing that in the wrong place. I'm going to define my function in my interface. Such. As you see, a reference has appeared. Where am I here? So initialize my event handler. So I'm looking at what needs to be done on Telefyy core and just like separating my concerns. So I have these function calls, which are kind of necessary to actually start getting updates. Do I need the async keyword? No, I don't think so. So guys, I'm just trying to pass by parameter here. Of course, here on my Telefyy core, which is where I kind of tested my initial hello world from my bot, I have a ton of globals, right? But obviously in my API implementation, I want to kind of avoid global passing of values or variables. I don't want global variables in as much as I can. So in and where I need members, like different classes, I'm just passing as parameters for now. Probably the best way to go about this for now. And in my pipelining logic, in my pertaining pipeline class, I can then pass in the constructed classes. Okay, ads. Sorry, guys. All right. Let me go through my Telefyy core, make sure that I'm not missing anything. Because then now, I'm on 5% on my camera. Can I charge this? Oh, where's my charger? Sorry, guys. I need to sort this out. Alright guys, I'm gonna maybe switch off my camera, but you should be able to still hear me. It's just that I need to charge my phone. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. Alright, give me a minute guys, hold on. Alright guys, so I had to switch off my camera because my battery's on 5% on my phone. I'm just going to continue like this for now. Alright, I need to work on my workflow logic. I think I've got my API pretty much sorted for now at this stage. I need to define one of my functions, the one I just made. Where is it? I can't find it. This one. There's no references on this, so I must have missed this out. Yeah, reference on that. There we go. Okay, create storefront. So what I'm going to do is the way that I was creating storefronts on Telefyy, well, rather, I say create storefront. Let me slow down. I'm going to do a hello world function first. This hello world function is a bit of a test to make sure I've got the API features running. And I've got all the implementation here already, so it shouldn't be too bad. Alright, so let me just review my implementation. I think it's at the bottom somewhere. Yeah, because when I call login, that's when let me see this here. Login, storage file, credentials. No, it's not that one. Let me go here. I'm trying to see where I fired my hello world. I'm just gonna emulate the process. It's not that difficult. I think it's just pushing a message when the update comes through. I just literally had a text string somewhere, but I just wanted to double check. So when I log in, call login, which is over here. So this function needs to be on my storefront class. Try catch. Authenticate bot connection. Debugging. Oh, I think my camera just went on. Wow, so the camera feature turns on the camera on my OBS. That's so odd. It wasn't even the droid camera. That's why I was a bit puzzled just now. Strange. Okay, anyway. I don't know what just happened. Anyway. My phone is charging, so my camera's effectively offline. Right now, I'll put my camera to the side. Okay, so I'm gonna grab my login feature. Telefyy API. Let me just see what I need. Login successful. I might not actually need anything there. This just pertains towards this actually pertains towards storing my login credentials. Where's the bit where I'm sending the message? I know that's on the how would I do that? I think I just called one of these, like get updates. Let me just read the description. Okay. So there are two things. Line 227, I gotta make sure I'm calling this functionality that I'm constructing my Telegram bot client class. And I have to make sure that I'm calling for me to get updates. And there are two different functions handling my concerns of updates and constructing my class in my API on the left. What functions were there? Initialize actions, was it? No. I'm trying to find it. It's here somewhere. Yeah, initialize updates. Right, okay, cool. Oh, this fascinating. Okay, cool. And where's the other one? Just authenticate. Just want to make sure I got it right. Oh, I'm missing something. Initialize updates. Missing definition. I think it's just what I saying. Oh. Oh, I've got it twice. Oh, that's because I did it before. Yeah, that's fine. I need to call this. I need to call this. I'm not sure if I'm implementing the way I invoke my functions. Let's make sure I'm doing it right. Let's see what I'm doing. Okay, I'm unlocking. So here are my functions. I'm gonna go for authenticate bot connection first. Well, should it really be here? Doesn't make sense. Better still, if I pass my bot token in my storefront constructor. It depends how I want to authenticate. Do I authenticate in my storefront class? I don't think so. There should be an authentication class. Because right now I'm building around my API, so let me make another class to authenticate. More classes, but at least I have a more modular system for my project. Storefront. I should really be separating my class in namespaces. It's a little too late for that. Oh guys, I do apologize. If there was an ad running just now, I apologize. I realized that there was an ad running and I didn't mute the mic. Or rather, I didn't mute my output. Oops. Alright, authentication class. My authentication class, I'm going to box session. Oh wow, wait. Oh gosh, made a mistake. What am I doing? Wait, let me look at this implementation. I don't want that as a global. Oops. Oh boy. Let's see, I can't, okay, I'm gonna do this later because I got more globals that I need to sort out, but not right now. To keep my my instances of my bot connect consistent, I need to make sure, guys, that I'm constructing my interface in one central location and I'm passing my interface reference accordingly, so that I don't have like multiple instances of my interface. Like that might cause issues if I'm passing by parameter. I suppose because I'm in a UWP environment, I will resort to my main window class, my main page rather. Because this is the entry. This class is the entry point of my app. I could do it on login, I suppose. But I don't want to use Telefyy Core so much because I want to test my new workflow. So take that out for now. Actually, I need just login. token. Guys, 1 second. I just remembered something about my ID. Oh boy. Let me see. Go to view here. I'm gonna take some more coffee. Give me a minute, guys. Just off screen quickly. Just wait for my Visual Studio to update. This is taking a while. Just changing my theme to dark. Oh my gosh. Alright guys, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not used to this. I can get used to dark theme. But I can't see the text. Okay, here we go. Okay, Visual Studio has caught up. Yeah, I can get used to dark theme. This looks really cool actually, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, I can use this. Oh man. I'm sure I've come to this out. It's interesting, guys. Um, it's interesting. It's interesting that I can have. Well, actually, I suppose there's no restriction to having method implementations that are not defined in my interface. Like C# Visual Studio won't stop me from creating methods. uh, um, bot connects. Duplicated my function.
Did you know that almost any question about your expense data can be drilled down instantly? In fact, it can